still Mike.
Welcome back to Thirsty Thursday. What do we call it? True Crime Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday. Are we going to switch it and we'll just start having different drinks?
Yeah, that'll be our next.
Yeah.
Once we get sick of, we had game time. Now we have true crime.
I miss game time sometimes.
We could do it for a regular episode sometimes.
We could,
It had its running. I think we were only the only ones who really
I do.
game time.
Going by our engagement on True Crime Thursdays, there's a lot more engagement on these than there was on game time. So someday when we're famous, people will look back and go, "Did you see that? They were weird."
Yeah, we'll be like, "Yeah, we still are."
So I've been, I got my new cappuccino machine. I've been making myself Americanas a lot. Mm-hmm. They're so good.
That's so where it's like espresso mixed with water, right?
Yeah, it's like a double shot. The way I make it, anyway, it's a double shot of espresso and then 10 ounces of water from the Keurig, because the Keurig will do the hot water. I could do it from the espresso machine, but it's just easier to measure it on the Keurig.
Or your teapot, your kettle.
Yeah, that seems like more work.
My
Keurig, I just press the button.
My Keurig never gives me just clean water. There's always coffee grounds in it.
No, I haven't experienced that so far. But
maybe I need to clean my Keurig.
Maybe. So, what's the case we're going to be talking about today? He asked, as if he didn't already know.
Yeah, right. We're talking about the Michael Blagg case.
Blagg.
I know, I hate that last name. There's just certain last names that it's like, gosh, that would be, something to marry into. You're just
glad you didn't get born into having that name. Or marry into that name.
Or marry into it. Marry into it would be harder because it's like, I guess
especially if he was the spouse, because
yeah, exactly.
Guy had a lot going on.
So yeah, we're talking about Michael Blagg, and he was married to his wife Jennifer, and they had one child. Her name was Abby. She was 6 years old. And yeah, Michael Blagg, so he was a former U.S. Navy helicopter pilot. And this this happened in the 90s. Well, I guess early 2000s.
Yeah, 2001 is the date I have. Yeah.
Late 90s, 99. I think it was like 99 to 2001. It was like when it all kind of was...
When the whole storyline
unraveling. Yeah.
Got you.
Little bit older of a case. So after he was not in the Navy anymore, he actually became a manufacturing engineer. And yeah, him and Jennifer met each other in the early 90s in California while he was serving in the U.S. Navy. And Jennifer, because she was deeply religious, she just loved, apparently, that he was a Christian man. And she wanted to get married and have this traditional Christian family, and
she was looking for the storybook, is what you're saying, right?
She was looking for the storybook, yeah. And I guess because she wanted this Christian family, she also was committed to making it work. But over time, you will find out that even during testimony and stuff, that's not, unfortunately, how things ended up happening.
Also, some of the stuff he was involved in, he clearly wasn't that good of a Christian.
He wasn't. But how many? We've talked about the Duggars before. Many of these Christianity on their sleeve, skeletons in their closet. That's just. I hate that. Honestly, I hate that. That's even a stereotype. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that it's even a thing of
you want to believe that, people are actually good, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly.
There are some good people.
No, of course there are, but then there's the weirdo ones.
Yeah.
So between 1999 and 2001, this is when things started to go downhill for poor Jennifer. So the family moved to Grand Junction, Colorado, and this was once Michael accepted his engineer position. And then, according to a bunch of testimonies and evidence from the actual trial itself, this is kind of when Jennifer started to become unhappy in the relationship. A lot of her friends said that she appeared fearful of
Mm.
Michael's reactions. Her friends kind of described it as like Jennifer always wanted to like make sure everything was perfect before he got home and the house was like, spotless and dinner was ready and on the table. Like she just for some reason was very paranoid about that. And she had also discussed separation with her friends and getting out of her marriage. And during the trial, this is also when prosecutors argued that Michael was controlling and he wanted to maintain the appearance of a perfect family as well. Um, so November 13th, 2021, this is when Michael left home early for work. So like so later that day, so Michael left for work in the morning. From what I've read about the like whole timeline of this day in general, and they went
Mhm.
over it in court like a lot too.
Mhm.
We all have our little routines. We know when to leave at a certain time. Especially when you're commuting to work, you have a very pretty strict routine of having to leave at this certain time to make it to work on this time. And
Yep.
I need to be home, and once I get home at this time, this is how things are. I come home, I eat dinner, especially like his little perfect family life. So, what was weird about this day is that he had left home, and when he left his house, not long after he left, he had texted Jennifer something like, "Good morning, my beautiful wife. I hope you have the most perfect day." Obviously, no response. Then later in the day, texted her something else. Hope you're having just the best day. Then later on, like I think he had texted her maybe like one or two more times after that before he headed home. I don't know. Maybe he's just like this storybook husband. But the text to me, anytime, any case that we've ever looked at like this, when mostly husbands, unfortunately, are just very
Fair
like,
enough.
whenever they're just very like, I don't know a better word for it than like theatrical about the
Right.
text messages.
Right.
Like, no husband is just like doing the most like that every single day, day in and
Well,
day out.
the thing is to me too, if he didn't do that all the time, immediately that goes from being an alibi to being suspicious.
Right.
Unless every day he's doing that, then it's not the norm. It becomes more suspicious.
And I,
Continue though.
yeah, and I don't think he like was. So, but he was trying to set up the like, oh, I left my wife in the morning. She was home. I saw her, and then I
Yeah.
just went to work. And I did think it was weird. I was texting her all day, no response. But
Yeah.
whatever.
It is
Um,
it is amazing when you look at these cases though, like this one and Scott Peterson, and you look at the amount of effort that they go into to make it
Chris
seem like they
Watts.
didn't do what they did Chris Watts. Well, his was he actually, yeah.
Well, he
Yeah,
put it
true.
at his job site. Like,
Yeah, that's true. That's
he
true.
really kind of all fingers pointing to him. Um, yeah, no, for sure. Like, for the effort that a lot of these people put into literally disposing their families, they should put that towards a trade or
Yeah,
something.
a trade.
Like maybe a hobby or yeah, like
Yeah.
you put half that energy towards
You know
something.
what? You write start writing stories.
True.
You know?
True. Start writing stories or like a movie or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So November 13th, he left for work and he came home about midday. I believe he also tried to call her a few times and she didn't
Mm.
answer. So he comes home midday, and that's when he called 911. I don't know if you listened to the 911 call, but he
I
was
did
pretty
not.
like shaken up in the 911 call. Like I will say he was very um like emotional,
Hmm.
and like you could hear like the quivering in his voice and stuff. So if he was acting, he was very good at it. So he obviously reported that his wife and daughter were missing, and he also noticed that her purse had been tipped over and like emptied out, and the in their master bedroom there was blood on the bed.
Hmm.
Everything else about the house seemed normal. Everything else about the house was clean. It just a tipped over purse and blood on the bed.
Hmm.
Um, so when the police arrived, this was something that was very weird to them. And even in the 911 call, the operator had asked him, have you touched anything? And I think he said, oh, because her phone was there as well. Um, the operator had asked, did you touch anything? I think he might have said her purse or something. And then she had also asked if is the car still there? Like maybe she just went her and her daughter went to the store. No, the minivan was in the garage. So once the police got there, something that they thought was weird was that on the bed, like the blood only at the first glance, it was only on the bed. There were no drag marks, there were no drip marks throughout the house of blood, and I guess for as much blood as there was on the bed, nobody is really surviving that much blood loss. Like if
Right,
somebody did
right,
get up with that much blood loss, it's like they should be in the hospital. I mean, there would be drips of blood somewhere else in the
right,
house.
right.
It wouldn't just be secluded to a big
So I
puddle on the
wonder,
bed.
with that being the case, does that indicate that, like, did he shoot her like the day before and she just bled out, you know, or like it makes me curious about the timeline of how it happened, because if there was no sign of blood dripping, it would mean that he didn't like carry the body while she was still bleeding.
So, one thing I know that they also thought was weird about this was that the blood on the bed was dry.
Hmm.
And the thing is, again, like, he wasn't an immediate suspect, by the way. They weren't, the husband's always kind of a suspect, but he wasn't, it wasn't like initially all fingers pointing to Michael. So, but there were weird things that were confusing them, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, they couldn't really point it to Michael too just off the bat because there was no murder weapon, there was no body, and even so the blood was dried on the bed. That's kind of also what made them side eye him a little bit because he had said he saw her that morning. I
Right.
woke up this morning for work. I said goodbye to Jennifer. Abby was still sleeping in her bed, and then I went to work. So, and he had also, remember, texted her shortly after leaving the house to go to work. So, it's kind of a fuzzy timeline of if somebody were to break in your house and kill your wife and you came home midday, there wouldn't just be this whole like only blood spot
Right.
on your bed and that's it, and where's the little girl, and
Right.
he I guess cleaned up drip marks or drag marks throughout the house too before he left, but this all happened so he was just laying in wait outside the house for you to leave. And
Right.
then
Yeah.
even with the tipped over purse, even with a burglary, if Jennifer was in her bed and the purse was downstairs or like in the kitchen, whatever, there would be no reason to even like
Yeah.
kill her. just
Yeah,
randomly
exactly. Yeah,
in
just
her
take the
sleep.
person, leave. Yeah.
Just take the person,
Yeah,
leave.
it was a terrible job at trying to set up a not even an alibi, but to set up a, some scenario.
Yeah,
It was not well thought out.
no, for sure. So, um, yeah, so at first, Michael was very cooperative in the investigation. He gave interviews. I believe he even went on a talk show and was like talking to them about the whole thing. He pleaded publicly for Jennifer and Abby to come home. And yeah, they didn't rule him out completely, but they weren't really looking at him. They really truly were trying to find who did it.
Right.
Um, so searches began along the Colorado River. Volunteers also searched wilderness, and a bunch of people participated in this search as well. Um, what investigators ended up learning in this was okay, so during the investigation, detectives had uncovered a lot of pieces of evidence that they believed showed that the marriage was failing,
Hmm.
including but not limited to
Hmm.
Jennifer had been considering leaving Michael, and she also found out that he was using escort services, and there were thousands of pornographic images that were found on his computer. Um, she also had a journal. Jennifer had a journal, and they also read through that, obviously, and they had read that there was a lot of marital conflict
Mm.
amongst the other, the conflict being the escorts and the thousands of.
Yeah. As if that's not enough, right? Yeah,
um,
because I have something that says uh that where was it? Darn it! Now I really messed up. I had something that said something about a note that he wrote to her that said something to the effect of like I want to read it exactly because I don't want to. Since I've interrupted you now, I want to read it exactly. Um, let's go closely at Michael. Blah blah blah. Da, 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 da,
I
da, da,
mean,
da.
we also have to remember, like, Jennifer wanted this, like, she wanted him initially because she thought that he was just this, like, super nice, sweet Christian man, and like that they were
Right,
just having this like relationship. So
right.
obviously, finding out that your husband is hiring escorts isn't exactly like, living
Yeah,
the
that kind
Christian
of goes
wife
away from the
lifestyle.
ideal. Yeah, here's what it is. It says investigators found a handwritten note from Michael to Jennifer with self-correcting prompts like "Don't get angry and strike back when Jennifer confronts me," and "Be humble to in her criticism," showing immense pressure building behind closed doors. So, yeah, apparently, and I don't know that note almost sounds to me like he was trying to make it seem like, well, I don't know. I guess you wouldn't leave a note like that if you were trying to say somebody else did it. So,
True. Um oh yeah, so then by February 2002, um Michael attempted suicide. So he obviously survived it. They found him in the bathtub. He left a like note, and but by the time that they got to him, so um investigators at this time, like, they were still in and out of the house doing things, so that's how they ended up finding him in the first place. I believe they like just when they went in the house, they heard water running, and they went upstairs and they see him in the bathtub, and like ended up saving him.
uh, that that seems pointless.
So yeah, then they have obviously continued their investigation. And obviously, so in his would have been suicide note, he had also said in there that he did not kill Jennifer or Abby. So, but the thing is, like, him attempting to commit suicide, I Personally, I think that that is what kind of had fingers pointing to him
Right.
from the beginning, because why are you attempting to commit suicide at this point and leaving this note saying that you didn't kill your wife and daughter? But
Right.
at the same time, your wife and daughter are still missing and they haven't
Right.
found a body yet. They haven't found any murder weapon yet. So, like, as far as he knows, he should be still out there searching for them.
Right. Right. And how long after was that? That was only a relatively short amount of time after too, right?
Yeah, that was February 20. Well, nah. Yeah, that was February 2002.
So
This
a
happened on
couple
November
like
13th.
yeah, so two and a half months later.
Yeah. And like even with that, like November in Colorado, like that's pretty cold. So it's not even like,
Right.
she just
Right.
got up and went for a walk and left him that way. So
Right.
yeah, Michael, Michael now kind of had eyes on him to say. Um, so this is a big breakthrough that kind of happened with everything, which is the landfill search that they ended up doing. Which was also, I guess, connected to his workplace somehow.
Right.
A coworker reported something unusual, and that was that Michael had taken trash to the dumpster himself, something coworkers considered out of character. Investigators traced where that dumpster's contents had gone, and it led them to the Mesa County landfill. Mesa.
Mesa, I think it's pronounced Mesa. Mesa.
Mesa. Detectives searched through thousands of tons of garbage over weeks, which shout out to the detectives in this case because like how many things like it's crazy how like detectives and police work in just different states and areas and cities are all just they got a different kind of hustle behind them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
and on that part of it too, the notes I have say that they actually like went to the trouble of tracking the days that that dumpster at his work was emptied. They knew what days it was emptied. Then they went through the, I guess, the logs at the landfill or wherever it was, and knew the specific like zone grid
yeah,
area of the grid that would have been dumped, and just crazy like that
great
they were able
detective
to.
work.
Yeah.
So then by June 2002, it's weird reading like the 2000 numbers. My brain doesn't know how
Yeah.
to. Um, that's when Jennifer's body was found. She was wrapped inside a tent, buried amongst trash, and shot once in the head. Dental records are what actually confirmed her identity. Abby was not anywhere to be found with her in the trash at all. And that's despite searching 7,000 tons of trash over several weeks. They still never located Abby's remains. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
And
assumed that
they still
Abby,
haven't to this day, right?
yeah, they still have never found Abby. They don't know if she was sold off, if she was just given away, if she was dropped off somewhere
Mm-hmm.
random, if she was killed and he maybe like buried her body somewhere else. Like sometimes I know in some cases, like not to say that these people have a heart, but like sometimes they feel a little differently about children and they'll like give them a more proper burial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Um, so within hours of identifying Jennifer's body, that's when Michael was arrested in Georgia
Then
and
he had gone to Georgia abruptly when he heard that they were doing the landfill search. So he knew the jig was up.
you don't look guilty at all, Michael. Michael said, "Let me get out of here." Yeah, so he was charged with first degree murder, also abuse of a corpse, and theft related charges connected to the disposal of evidence. Obviously, he pleaded not guilty, and then in 2004, that's when the trial happened. Um, So, yeah, Michael did not testify, and then after about 12 hours of deliberation, the jury convicted him and sentenced him life without parole. Um, so here's a little funny, like not funny twist, but definitely something that we've like talked about before in other cases that has happened, which
Mm-hmm.
was when his conviction was overturned. So years after he was convicted, a juror admitted facts that had not been disclosed during the jury selection, which was that basically a jury lied on their initial interview that I think it was that they never
It's a
experienced domestic violence or
Yeah,
something.
it says she hid the fact that she was a victim of domestic violence. So I don't know
Yeah.
what the question was, but that's why it was overturned.
Yeah. So because that happened, um the case got overturned. That doesn't mean that Michael is just, a free man, but they did need to go through the whole trial again, get a new jury. I know at this point Jennifer's family in certain interviews they were saying that they were nervous because they were like, now what if this jury says he's not guilty?
Right.
Um but spoiler alert guys, he was um convicted
Convicted.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
What's
guilty.
crazy to me is that
So he got guilty twice.
yeah, which means you really did it.
You just
Um,
really did it.
it took 4 years though. It was twenty
Yeah.
fourteen was when it was overturned. It wasn't the second trial didn't happen until 2018, which is just that's insane to me. This is already a case that was at that point 14 years old.
Mhm.
And I mean, I guess they're like, well, you know, what's another 4 years? Like you do see a lot of that stuff and it makes you think, like, why does it take that long?
Yeah.
I mean, they had the whole case, like the the prosecution had their whole case. They had a really solid case. The defense knew everything that they were going to know. I guess in the new trial they tried to pin the crime on some Canadian sex offender,
Oh yeah.
which is just like grasping at straws, I guess. But it's just that I just saw that and I'm like, why 4 years later? Like, I feel like that's the kind of thing where it should be like, okay, well, we're going to schedule the new trial then. And I don't know.
Mhm. Well, something else they ended up finding later on was that they also, when they looked in when they checked the minivan in the garage, they had also found drops of blood in the minivan as well.
Oh,
So at that point, and this was like before, they checked the trash or anything like that, obviously, and even at that point, they're like, so if somebody would have had to break in, kill Jennifer, put her body in the van, clean up the drops on the way from the bedroom to the van, drive her somewhere, drop her off, then bring the minivan back and leave. All
yeah,
within like the moment that he
that's,
left for work and he texted,
yeah.
come on. So,
I mean, I guess you only have to get one juror who won't agree to guilty, but that's,
yeah.
yeah.
Um and yeah, obviously Abby's body has never been found. Um I guess the investigators do assume that she is also dead, that she died the same day that Jennifer did. Um, there were also a lot of talks that they believe what had happened was when he got home from work the day prior, that when Jennifer was asleep, he shot her in the head. And from what they
Uh,
say, like from I guess like looking at it and the angle of the shot and all that stuff, they said that she probably had no idea what happened.
oh, wow.
Like no pain, nothing like that. So I mean, if
Yeah.
anything, not that it's comforting at all, but
Yeah. But if,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, and then he handled all of that overnight,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. Which would make sense again because of the dried
Or
blood
I guess in the
aspect of it.
morning, maybe in the morning when he went to work. I
Yeah,
guess he could have.
he must have done something overnight though, because like he, when he went to work, he already had, you know, I'm assuming he had her body in his car, wrapped in a tent that was a family, that was their tent. Um,
Yeah.
so, but because of the whole thing of the co-workers mentioning about him going to the dumpster to throw out garbage, that he had, that was probably when he was doing it, I assume, unless he had done it the night before and he went there to throw out garbage because he wanted to see if it was still there,
My
something like that.
assumption is that he did it overnight and just took her body to work with him.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
But,
so
you
that's what I
know,
was suggesting too. Yeah.
the only
Um,
strange thing about that is like he at some point would have also had to do something to Abby. So that's
right,
kind of
right,
the fuzzy
right.
fuzzy part
Yeah,
that everyone's questioning.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, the easy assumption would be that she would have been in the same, you know, if he killed her, she'd be in the same dumpster. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and the other interesting aspect again is like the whole digital footprint thing with them finding all of the you know pornography stuff, and I guess stuff related to the escorts and that, on his computer. I think um the whole the one thing I'm curious about is if there was any kind of evidence, like GPS related evidence, to where
Hmm.
his phone went, or did he do things like very normally, like go to, work at the normal time, but he's got, a body stuffed in the back of the car.
Yeah, I think that's what it more was. But
So the the minivan, though, you said had blood in it.
mhm.
So that's interesting, because
Mm.
if that's not the vehicle he took to work, like, when, why was there blood in there?
Well, we don't know.
Right. Right.
So the thing is, we have to remember, like, so the way the timeline was is that, and I don't know if his coworkers ever said if he brought the minivan to work or what that looked like, but the
Right.
way the timeline happened is he didn't call. He called 911 whenever he got home.
Right. Or
You know
or
what I
when he
mean?
says he got home.
When he says he got home.
Right.
So I think he definitely went to work that day, but and he might have taken a half day or whatever. But let's be honest, he's not going home and calling 911 when he's not ready for that to happen. So he could
Right.
have
Right.
taken the minivan to work, and that, not to call him smart, but I guess that would have been smarter because they
Right.
maybe he assumed that they would be more likely to look in his car, and he didn't want
Right.
her blood in his car because that's a bad
Right.
look.
Right.
So
True.
he gets home from work in the minivan, pulls that thing in the garage, calls 911.
Right.
Boom,
Yeah, that
bam.
that would make sense. Yeah. It's also interesting though, with, like, obviously with all the blood they found in the bed was Jennifer's, that they didn't find any evidence of what happened to Abby, because he,
Yeah.
let's face it, he was kind of sloppy about how he did it, the fact that there was blood in the minivan. Um so it really makes you question, like, what could have happened,
Well,
to
and
her.
they did say that when they were searching the house in Abby's room, they had found her clothes laid out for school still.
Mm,
Like her clothes laid out for school from the morning or the night prior.
from right, right. Wow.
So, yeah, so sad.
Yeah, very sad, very sad. And it also says that the final appeal happened just last year, or not last
Mhm.
year. Wow, this is 2026. In 2023, it happened. Basically, the final appeal upheld the conviction um, on June 29th of 2023. So yeah, he's got a life sentence, and he's keeping his life sentence. There will be no overturning of it at this point. So that's good.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, like, somebody like him whose, daughter is still missing. I don't know, maybe because he knows like where she is and what actually happened to her, like he's fine
Right.
just keeping that between him and
To
God.
himself. Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like sometimes too when these criminals like you already have life in jail and prison,
Yeah.
like why wouldn't
Just
he
admit it.
confess where Abby
Well,
is? Or
I
if
don't
it's like a
know what
power thing.
yeah, I don't know what the laws are in Colorado. But because she was a child, that could be maybe death penalty eligible. That's the only thing I can
Mm,
imagine because they can still try him for that. Yeah, he's in jail for the rest of his life, but if he gets that conviction, it could be death penalty. That's the only thing I
true.
can imagine. Um,
Yeah.
but I agree, like just admit it, like just admit what you did.
Mhm.
Um, because I guess what she was 6 in 2001, so that would mean she's 20. She was 6 then, and it's 2001, 25 years later, she would be 31. So
Jeez.
she would be a full grown adult. If somehow he did give her away to somebody, she is a full grown adult now.
Yeah.
And I would think a 6-year old, like, would have enough of a memory of things around them. You know what I mean? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't remember much from when I was 6.
I mean, that's when your brain starts having memories. I think that's like definitely something traumatic enough. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, when they say when you go through super traumatic situations that your brain almost like blocks
Yeah.
certain situations out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who
Well, and I
knows?
feel like, if he did like sell her or give her away, she would just remember that she was adopted when she was 6. Like that would
Hmm.
probably be the memory that she would have.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully it's not the other thing because that would make this case more horrible.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, that's our
So there we are.
case. That's our case today.
Yeah. If you know anything different than what we said or more details on this, we'd love you to comment and let us know. And if there's any cases that you've heard about that are like interesting ones that you'd like us to cover, let us know too, and we'll do our deep dive.
Yeah.
So
Anyways.
anyway, you know, no, never mind. I was going to say something, but it was wrong,
Okay. Well,
and I don't like saying things that are wrong. So I
admission
want to
is.
end on a high note. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, everyone. See you next week.